So, have you ever wondered what happens when a gritty dystopian escape story crashes head-on into biblical prophecy? Well, welcome back to another explainer. Today, we are unpacking the foundational canon of Real Trexon, The Last Black Hole. And let me tell you, this is a prestige spiritual sci-fi thriller that goes way, way beyond your typical survival narrative. We are looking at an origin story of massive, absolutely cosmic proportions, and I am so excited to finally unpack this one with you all. Let's jump right in.
Okay, let's look at this exact quote from the creator's own series Bible, because it perfectly establishes the epic tone of this universe. They describe it as Book of Eli meets Underground meets the Matrix meets Revelation. Literally, just let that sink in for a second. We're talking high-stakes physical survival, a literal underground railroad dynamic, mind-bending reality shifts, and apocalyptic biblical warfare. It's a universe where outrunning a corrupt government is honestly just the very first step in a much larger spiritual war.
So here is our roadmap for today. We're going to start by breaking down the cosmic premise, then we'll meet the key players, track the breathless Exodus plot, and finally witness the spiritual war.
Part 1. The cosmic premise. We absolutely have to define the rules of this universe before the prison breaks start making any sense.
To really understand this world, we have to look at the title's namesake, the black holes. Now, you hear black hole and you probably think of, deep space science anomalies or alien tech, right? Well, scratch that. The crucial point here is that these black holes are deliberate, divine portals. They were created by the creator, Yahuah, and their sole purpose is to extract his chosen people from a totally broken, collapsing world. It completely flips that standard sci-fi trope right on its head. These portals are an act of divine deliverance, not some random space-time mistake.
And notice the stark contrast between the two worlds at the heart of this Exodus. On one side you have Earth, pre-Exodus. It's a collapsing America completely defined by government surveillance, these elite kill squads known as ghost ops, and intense racial and economic decay. It's a literal dystopia. But then on the flip side, waiting right through that portal, is Apollo 28. This is a divine refuge. To put it into perspective, we're talking beautiful purple skies, glowing crystal soil, and thriving communities that are completely untouched by greed or oppression. It is the ultimate promised land, and it's exactly what our protagonists are desperately sprinting toward.
Moving right along to Part 2, the key players. Let's meet our prophets, hunters, and renegades. What's really fascinating here is the profound juxtaposition between the two women fighting for Real Trexon's soul. On the left, we have Melissa Carter. She's an FBI agent, she's Real's former fiancée, and her love is rooted entirely in toxic obsession, possession, and control. I mean, she literally betrays him to the government. Then, over on the right, we have Mahlia Ground. She is fierce, spiritually awakened, and her connection with Real is built on true love, freedom, and a divine covenant. Real's core conflict, both physically and emotionally, is having to choose between the love that traps him and the love that frees him.
Now, Mahlia obviously doesn't pull off this insane rescue mission alone. No way. She brings in the Deliverance Unit. This is an elite roster of renegades who each bring a highly specialized skill to the table. We've got Ghost, the silent sniper, Circuit, the tech disruptor scrambling the grid, Preach, a chaplain and medic who literally wields scripture like a weapon, Tempest, the dual-wielding weapons master, Blue, the tunnel expert driving their stolen getaway trains, and Dr. Selah, the brilliant surgeon, because, you always need a brilliant surgeon when you're dodging government kill squads. It's just an incredible ensemble operating completely on divine timing.
Which brings us to Part 3, the Exodus plot. This is the literal sprint for freedom. So Yahuah tells Mahlia she has exactly 5 days to pull off this rescue. The clock is ticking. It kicks off with a brutal, silent Rikers Island breakout at hour 1. By hour 24, they're hiding out in a sanctuary bunker, having a government tracking chip surgically removed from Real's arm, without anesthesia, by the way. Hour 48, they are dodging explosive ambushes in abandoned NYC tunnels. Hour 72 brings a devastating firefight and a betrayal down in Philadelphia. And finally, by hour 96, they reach the ultimate showdown in Chicago. It is a relentless, pulse-pounding chase from start to finish.
And that relentless timeline brings us right here. This is where all those crazy plot threads finally collide. The physical tension absolutely peaks in this abandoned Chicago gymnasium. Real is completely cornered by government forces and a totally unhinged Melissa Carter who is screaming that he was supposed to marry her. But just as the bullets start flying and all hope seems lost, the gym floor literally cracks open. A vortex of golden divine light awakens right beneath them. Real and Mahlia step through the portal, escaping the gunfire and stepping directly onto the golden fields of Apollo 28. It is a breathtaking climax to the physical chase. All right, part 4, the final spiritual war. Let's see how this transforms into the cosmic destiny of Trexon. Because, reaching paradise wasn't the end of the story. Actually, it's where the stakes just absolutely skyrocket. First, a dimensional breach tears right open in that perfect purple sky above Apollo 28. Through it pours this terrifying entity known as the Harrower, along with his Void Army, and they attack this divine sanctuary. This violent invasion forces Real to awaken his full potential as Trexon, the Gate-Bearer. He starts unleashing this incredible gold and silver divine energy to fight back. But the enemy is just way too strong for one man alone, which triggers a pivotal shift. Mahlia awakens.
And guys, Mahlia's revelation here is a total game changer. She is not just some protector, and she is certainly not a sidekick, absolutely not. Her bloodline carries ancient white fire, and she is destined to stand as an absolute equal alongside the Gate-Bearer. She is the shield to his gate. This elevates her completely from a tactical rescuer into a divine warrior, stepping fully into her own ancient prophesied identity to merge her light with his.
As the battle rages and the sanctum is literally collapsing around them, the mythology just blows wide open with this massive revelation. The child of Gate and Shield, the one foretold, the one who will end the war. Destiny didn't just choose Real and Mahlia, it chose what comes after them. Mahlia is carrying a prophetic unborn child destined to end this cosmic war once and for all. Talk about a plot twist. This completely shifts the entire narrative from a battle for mere survival to a battle for the future of the entire multiverse.
Which brings us to the ultimate mind-bending cliffhanger. The Harrower finally corners them in the sanctum and delivers a terrifying ultimatum to Real. Give himself up, or the Harrower will devour Apollo 28 entirely. So the massive question remains. When forced to choose by the Harrower, which world will Real Trexon decide to save? Earth or Apollo 28? We'll end on that impossible ultimatum today. It's an ending that perfectly summarizes the immense stakes of the series and leaves us absolutely desperate to see how the whole saga concludes. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you all next time.